HD and WJZ.com, Baltimore.
Direct from Television Hill, Campaign 2010. The Candidates Debate. Now, here's WJZ's Denise Koch.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Over the next hour, we will hear from both candidates for Maryland governor. Tonight's debate is sponsored by the Baltimore Jewish Council, and we thank them for being with us today. Our candidates, of course, Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley and former Governor Robert Ehrlich. Each candidate will have up to 1 minute and 30 seconds to make an opening statement. And then we will move on to the issues. This is how it'll work. I will establish a topic. I will pose a question on that topic. Each candidate will then have up to 2 minutes and 40 seconds to present his views. I will then choose whether to follow up or whether to move on to the next issue. Each candidate will be given 1 minute for closing statements at the end of this debate. Tonight's debate is also being broadcast statewide, and we welcome you on Maryland Public Television, on WYPR Radio Baltimore, WUSA Digital 9.2 Washington, and WJZ.com worldwide on the web. Over the past weeks, many WJZ viewers have emailed suggested questions for the candidates. We thank you for those. We have read them, all of them. We have used many of them as we have decided on tonight's topics of discussion. Now, we really did have a coin toss just moments ago before this broadcast, and that has determined that Governor Robert Ehrlich will go first with his opening statements. Welcome, Governor.
Denise, thank you for doing this. We were joking off camera. You must have lost your coin toss to do this, but we thank you very much for your time. Gov, good to see you. Thanks. We've been mixing it up. Everybody's talking about the race. It's one of the most interesting races in the country. Thank you for doing this. We're doing this a bunch of times, everyone. This is the first of 4 or 5 debates, Denise, as you know. And so I want to thank, by the way, all the sponsors of this debate as well, all the folks in the studio audience, all the elected officials, and thank you all very much for watching. It's a consequential race, obviously, because when you elected executives count. Executives impact lives. They impact business cycles. They impact the ability to create jobs in a particular state. They impact taxpayers. They impact our vision and our future. So that's the reason we have so much interest in this debate. That's the reason all the signs and bumper stickers are running around. That's the reason all the TV commercials are running as well. Governors count. Now, we have very different views with regard to the bottom line, which is making Maryland better, of course. Governor O'Malley has a particular view with regard to progress in our state. I have a far different view. Obviously, job creation being the #1 issue in this campaign. And the fact of it is, a lot of these commercials that you've seen attempt to litigate the past. They attempt to litigate things about me. This is not a personality contest, folks. It's not Martin O'Malley, Bob Ehrlich. It's about you. It's not about, in fact, whatever 30-second attack ad happens to say at this particular night, and you've been seeing them on your airways as well. It's about us, our future, taxpayers. It's about business creation. It's about you. You count. You get the vote. We're just 2 guys who want to lead. It's a great honor to lead this state. Obviously, for 4 years, I've loved my time in public service in the state legislature, in the Congress of the United States, and representing you as your governor. Obviously, thought I was retired. We're back. 4 years ago, back again. Here we go. In any event, folks, we thank you very much for watching tonight. We thank you for your interest. We thank you for your enthusiasm. We thank you for the fact that you care about this consequential race. And, folks, governors count. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward, Gov, to talking about the issues.
Thank you, Governor Ehrlich. Governor O'Malley.
Hey, thank you, Denise, and thank you, Governor Ehrlich. I want to begin by thanking the people of our state. I want to thank the people of our state for giving me the honor of serving you in these very challenging and difficult times for every family and every business in our state. But as this national recession comes to a close, our state is moving forward. We are starting to create jobs again in Maryland, and we are transforming our economy through innovation and through education, and we're doing it better than most states, but we have a lot of important and urgent work to do. You have a clear choice to make in this contest. It is whether we move forward to better days or whether we slip back. And I humbly ask for your support to move Maryland forward. Every decision I've made over these last difficult years has been made with one consideration only, and that is what is best for the people of Maryland. What is best for families as they plan and protect their own future around their kitchen tables throughout our state. I have fought every battle on your side standing up to big mortgage companies as homeowners try to protect their homes. I've stood up to big utilities for Maryland consumers. With fiscal discipline and with decisiveness, I have cut our state spending by more than any governor in Maryland history, and more importantly, together, we have found ways to protect the priorities that allow us to make this transformation to a better new economy, improving schools, investing in innovation, making college more affordable for more families, making neighborhoods safer, and yes, taking the strong actions that are working to improve the health of the Chesapeake Bay. I'm optimistic about the future, that better future that you and I have the ability to achieve for our children by moving forward. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Governor. All right, the first topic today, and both of you have touched on it already, most numbers of viewers' questions we got were always surrounding the topic of the economy. The economy. Budgets have been slashed and programs have been cut. So many of our viewers want to know, what do you say to Marylanders who say, how are you going to stop this trend? How instead are you going to help Maryland's economy grow?
This has been a big issue, Denise. We've been going around the state in these small business roundtables. And, Gov, you know, the governor really has a big impact on the regulatory environment in your state. And the fact of it is we have some really broken state agencies that have been increasingly hostile to business and business creation in the state. We've seen the latest scandal on the dollar, for example, our so-called Business Regulation Agency. We have the Department of the Environment, which is increasingly hostile to job creators in the state. We have not created one net new job in this state over the past 4 years, Denise. And that's a real problem. We've doubled our unemployment rate, in fact. And that is a huge problem. We seem to have job growth in the public sector because of BRAC and base closing and because of stimulus and all this. But the fact of it is you have to have a healthy private sector. You have to, particularly what we control, Gov. You know we control, to some extent, tax policy, and we control some tort policy, legal policy. We don't really control the private sector concerning liquidity. But you and I both know we control the regulatory environment in this state. And to the extent you have hostile environment created, to the extent you have business people just hurting around the state of Maryland as a result of actions by state regulators, you have a loss of jobs. And Denise, that's what I hear time and time again around the state from the small business community, the people that really are the backbone of our economy and our state. It's a cliche, folks, but it's the truth. Small business is the backbone of our economy. We talk about it, it's even a cliche. But to the extent you're governor and you have this direct responsibility for job creation, you really need to think about the people you put in charge and the fact that business people need answers. They need consistency. They need a welcoming environment, not hostility. This election is really about how we view small business and the small business sector. Is it a source of revenue? Is it simply a source of more dollars to the state that we can tax and tax and tax and spend and spend and spend? Or is it a source of job creation? I believe in job creation. That's why National Federation of Independent Business, the #1 job creation group in this country, the small business people, the people that are the backbone of this country, they support me. They've always supported me, and they certainly support me in this election. We can't have an economy in Maryland simply dependent on the fortuitous nature of federal spending or the latest base closings or whatever it happens to be. We need a healthy private sector. Under Governor O'Malley, our private sector has suffered, and the facts speak for themselves.
All right, thank you. Governor?
Well, Denise, our country's going through a tough recession over the course of these last 3 years. And I don't think that there's a single family or business that's been spared this national, this global recession. But our economy is an innovation economy. And it is an innovation economy that is fueled by small business. 2/3 out of all jobs created in our state are created by small business. But nonetheless, as a state, we need to take stock of our competitive strengths in this environment. I'll make no apologies for standing up when necessary to environmental polluters and for protecting our quality of life and the health of the Bay. I believe that there's some things we can only do together, and protecting our natural resources is one of those things. And surely we have plenty of room for improvement, greater openness, transparency, predictability on regulations. But really the key to creating jobs is making this transition into this new economy of innovation. And we have some strong sectors. I have been supported by over 200 business people throughout our state, many of them in some of these leading sectors of life science and biotech, where even in the face of this downturn, we've moved up from 4th place ranking to 2nd place. Last year, we had one of the highest performing technology sectors in the country. because we're moving forward. The truth of the matter is we have actually created over 33,000 net new jobs. That's not me saying that. That's the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And we have to continue to create jobs because we have a deep hole to climb out of. This recession has cost all of us over these last 3 years. But for all of our anger and frustration at this recession, that anger and frustration isn't going to move us forward. What's going to move us forward are things like increasing the biotech tax credit, creating the Invest Maryland Fund, which allows us to get more venture capital into businesses and the startups that are happening in Maryland. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Denise, hardly a mouthpiece for the O'Malley Brown administration or the Maryland Democratic Party, has named our state one of the top 2 best states in America for innovation and entrepreneurship. Healing, health, discovery, we sit in the center of a corridor of innovation, provided we protect our investment in the most important quantity of all, which is the talents, the skills, the education level of our people, which Forbes magazine ranks as one of the top 3 in the country.
Denise, but this is really the issue of the campaign. This is what it's all about. And Governor, you know that. We love the federal sector. We love federal spending. We love NIH, and we love Pax River. We love Fort Meade, and we love Aberdeen Proving Grounds. These are federal facilities. They're posts. They spend a lot of money here, as we know. But the fact of it is we've dropped in our business ratings significantly. We have 216,000 Marylanders out of work. The Tax Foundation and various rating groups rate us one of the worst business environments in the country because we've gone from the 20s to the 40s. When I was first elected, the Baltimore Business Journal took a survey, and they said, is Maryland a pro-business state? And we were in the 30s. When we left office, many of you will recall, we had unemployment around under 4. And we had doubled that business confidence. We were in the 70s, and now we're back to the 30s. We're there because of this hostile regulatory environment, the largest tax increase in Maryland history, certain interest groups controlling the agenda of state government. Job creation is the issue in this campaign. Who best to create private sector jobs? Governor, we're not talking about public sector jobs. Maryland always creates public sector jobs. We're good at that. And we brought BRAC, as you know, and Lieutenant Governor Brown's been in charge of your operation to that extent, but we brought BRAC here. That was a great success of our administration. We need to create private sector jobs, the jobs that really count, to help with our underpinnings with regard to the public sector.
Well, jobs are important, but first, Governor, there was another thing you mentioned in there which I think is very important to a lot of people who've written in. Someone named Sean said he wants to know whether you will, forget jobs, let's talk about his wallet. He wants to know whether you will pledge not to raise taxes or significant fees in the coming years.
I'll tell you what I will pledge. I've never done that sort of irresponsible blanket pledge, but I will pledge not to raise property taxes like you raised property taxes, Governor, when you were governor in easier times. I will pledge not to jack up college tuition by 40%. I will pledge not to increase by 300% the annual filing fees for every small business incorporated by Maryland. And I will pledge to not pretend that fees are not taxes. Denise, in the toughest of times, we have cut state spending more than any governor in Maryland history. In fact, state spending is 3% less now than it was 4 years ago. When the former governor was governor, in easier times, he actually increased spending, state spending, by 33%. More than Glendenning ever did in a 4-year period of time, more than Schaefer in a 4-year period of time. And yet, we have protected the priorities that have allowed our economy to outperform virtually every other state. We have held on to our private job base better than all but 4 other states in the union. We are now creating jobs at twice the rate of the rest of the nation, and at a faster rate than our neighbors in Virginia. And the jobs that I'm talking about are the small, innovative companies that are popping up and starting all over Maryland, even in the face of this recession, and are really the cutting edge of this new economy. I was up in Edgewood the other day at Smith's Detection. That's 65 additional jobs. I was out at Life Technologies in Frederick last week, 100 additional jobs. MedImmune, Human Genome Sciences, where Tom Watkins believes we are a very strong state for this new innovation economy if we move forward.
Well, on the issue, just one second before you go, Governor, because I think you'll want to address this, on the issue of